Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager series. This is episode number 65, and today we are returning with a brand new season as our 9th year at the Den is about to get underway with our first game in the new Premier League campaign away against Spurs. Let's also look at our pre-season win, our Europa League qualifiers, plus, of course, the transfer special as well. So let's get straight to that first. So, as always, we'll start with the departures then, and after being given just over £100 million in our budget for the new season, we didn't need to cut any players in order to bring new signings in, but we did sell a couple of players. You already knew were leaving the club, Dale Fry and Abdul Kadir, who agreed transfers last season, leaving to Norwich and Hoffenheim respectively for £26.5 million, and also we sold a couple of young talents who didn't really progress the way we were hoping. Yannick's gone to Blackburn for £190,000, as he's off to Ewood Park, and also Matt Higgins went to Derby for £425,000. I was kind of reluctant to let Higgins go because I like this guy and I think he could be alright in the future, but now at 22 years old, turns 23 in January, I'm not sure he's ever going to be Premier League standard, so we let him go, and that's pretty much that. But every other departure other than Callum Steele leaving on a free, which was a young left back who didn't really progress, was a loan. As you can see, Perez has gone out on loan to Sevilla. Nana, who is a young left back who we need to keep a close eye on, he's had 2 years out on loan at Cambridge and MK Dons and done quite well. He's now gone to Sunderland for the year and could be a pretty decent player in the future. Brito's once again gone out on loan. He spent 2 years at Huddersfield. They didn't want him back, so he's gone to Dresden for the season in Germany. And also free loans here. Enzo's gone back out on loan to Germany, this time to Schalke. And also Romain and Pedro, our two Wonder Kids CMs we picked up last season, they've both left on loan. Romain's joining Enzo at Gelsenkirchen, and Pedro has gone to Malaga for the season as well. Why doesn't that say Schalke? I know Gelsenkirchen's the location, but why doesn't that say Schalke? Is that a licensing thing? I suppose it is. But anyway, these are departures regardless. There's one player here as well who's left on loan who you'll see we signed. And speaking of signs, let's move on to the transfers that have come in then to the new club. It's our 9th year at the Den. We had over £100 million in our budget, and I'm relatively satisfied with what we did. And why don't we start with a player left on loan as well. Koza has left on loan to Las Palmas. We picked this guy up on a free transfer at the end of the season. Had my eye on him for a couple of years because he's only 19 years old, turns 20 in November. But he's been capped 37 times by South Africa already. He's got some decent stats for a teenager as well. Physically, he's very well balanced there. Mentally, not bad either, with some good stats here. 17 for bravery, 18 determination, gotta love that. And 14 position, not bad. And technically too, 13 heading, 15 marking and tackling, 13 as well. Not too bad, this youngster, and again on a free transfer, already capped several times for his country as well. I thought a decent little steal, and could be right in the future. Not good enough now, but we got a job lot of these centre-backs, a job lot of these young centre-back talents that come through. Some work out, some don't. Hopefully he'll work out. I guess we'll have to wait and see. He's on loan at Las Palmas though, and we'll see how he gets on in Spain. And the next signing is a transfer we agreed last season, but I'll show you him regardless as a reminder for those that either didn't see the episode or forgot what his stats are like. Carl Alsop has joined the club for £30 million. We agreed this deal in February. He's now arrived at the Den. I'm absolutely delighted because I said in that episode, it's hard to get like really good young English talents on a decent valuation or type of valuation deal in FM, because due to the market, it's replicated very well in FM, replicated quite well in FM. English players do cost a hell of a lot of money, but £30 million, I'm really happy with this deal. It's a 4-year deal, 50 grand a week. He's been capped 4 times by England as well, and I think he will become one of our starting centre-backs this year as well. Really good stats. Physically, the guy is absolutely fantastic with 18 strength, 16 jumping, 17 balance as well. Mentally, very good too. 16 bravery, 17 concentration, 17 positioning, gotta love that. And technically the trio that I love, 14 heading, 15 marking, and tackling 14. Not bad. And they're just 24 years old, just turned 24 as well. This guy's just going to get better as the years go by. So Carl Alsop is in. He's taken Jordan's number, who's leaving in January. And I'm really excited about this guy. He could be a really good leader for us at the back. And I know you guys were waiting for this moment. You knew at some point I was going to show you an experienced old boy that I still believe has got it despite his rapidly declining physicals. I bring him in and I hope he's still got something left in the tank. Sadio Mane joins the Den for this season on a 1-year deal. If he plays 10 league games, he'll get an extension and it'll be another season for us. Now, he left Liverpool to join Barcelona in the game for £69 million a year after the first season, and he was doing really, really well. Or I say really well, like, quite well in La Liga, especially for a player that had his minutes reduced as the years went by. Still put in really good performances all through the years, but last year barely played at all for Barcelona. Just 6 games in La Liga and only the 1 goal. So he was let go on a free transfer, and we decided to snap him up. And he's still got some pretty decent stats. Physically, he's nowhere near as quick as he used to be, that's for sure. Just 10 for pace now. But mentally, he's still got some decent stats here. 16 flair, 15 determination, 15 vision as well, 15 off the ball till we play him up front, not bad. And technically, he's still really got it. 15 crossing, 13 dribbling, 15 finishing, 16 first touch, 16 technique as well. So technically, Mane's still got it. He can play in a wide variety of positions as well. And again, on a 1-year deal and 19 grand a week, not much at all. It's a low-risk signing as well. So Sadio Mane in. There's one every year. There's always one experienced old boy every year. Mane's this year's signing, and he could be alright for us. Now, there's actually only 2 signings to show you now, and I think we'll go with... which one am I going to go with here? The more expensive signing and the first ever player that's gone on 100 plus grand a week, or possibly one of the best new-gen/regen players we've had in this series so far? I think we'll go with the latter and say the more expensive transfer for last. But they play in a similar position. It's Paolo Campagno, who I'll show you as the penultimate signing of the lot. And I'm really excited about this guy. Now, we picked him up from, was it Vitesse? Yeah, it was, for 18.75 million. A really cheap deal. He's been a regular in the Netherlands for the squad, and he's been putting in fantastic shifts. Last year, 11 assists and 4 goals in 30 games. For a guy that's only 21 years old, he's got some really, really good stats. Physically, he's pretty balanced here. Technically, he's got some really nice stats. First touch, 14. Free kicks, 15. Gotta like that. 18 for passing, 16 for technique, 15 for tackling. As a defensive midfielder by trade, he could play further forward with a few of these stats here. Hence why we're currently training him to play in an attacking midfield role to get him utilised all through the spine of the team. But mentally is where I really like this guy. He's got 17 vision, 15 for work rate. I wish the teamwork was higher at just 10, but you see the stat right there, 20 determination. I gotta love that. But he's operating primarily as deep line playmaker in the team. Of course, we'll probably play him in that role ahead of Dobby this season, who's been ever present in our first 11, but he will probably take Dobby's place. But he's got some absolutely fantastic stats, and yeah, I really like to look at the guy. And again, he could play really anywhere through the spine of the team, and possibly in later years, thinking really far into the future here, could possibly retrain him to play as a ball-playing centre-back with some okay defensive stats here, and 5'11" isn't too small either. So yeah, Paolo Campagno in, and it's a 4-year deal, and I gotta say, I really like him. The ceiling's very high for this guy. If he gets the game time, he could be a star. And the final player I'll show you is a player playing in the same position, and it is our most expensive contract of the series so far. I don't think he justifies it personally, but it's what we had to pay to bring him in. He was available. I really love this guy's stats. Welcome to Millwall Football Club, Weston McKennie. Now, the Americans out there, I know I've got a lot of them follow me. You'll be loving this sign because he's one of the hottest prospects in American prospects in world football. He's got some absolutely amazing stats in the game as well. He's really developed well since joining Schalke. As you can see, he spent all of his years playing in Germany. He's been an ever-present figure at the Veltins Arena, and we've picked him up for £27 million, which isn't actually that much money when you think about it. His valuation's already gone up by £1 million since we signed him. It's a 4-year deal. The money is a lot though, 105 grand a week. The first ever player we've had in the series to have over 100 grand a week in his contract. He's also got some big bonuses here as well. The agent basically didn't want him to come here, so we had to really splash the cash to bring him in. Look at this sell-on fee percentage, 15%. I rarely ever include that clause, but it's what I had to do to get this guy in. But he's got some very nice stats though, and I'm hoping he's going to justify the money we're paying him as well. Now, he, like was it Paolo? It's Paolo, isn't it? Yeah, he, like Paolo, is someone that could play all through the spine of the team. I really like that. 6'1", so could definitely be a ball-playing centre-back if we decide to retrain him there. But in a defensive midfield/midfield role, I think he's going to take Mamadou Koulibaly's place as our ball-in midfielder. He can play, as a player, deep line playmaker, but he can play as well as a player that really hunts the ball back and wins it back. He's got the stats really to play in any role in the CM position, which I really, really like. But he will be the ball in midfielder. He's got some absolutely fantastic stats. Physically, the guy's an absolute monster. He's quick. He's got great natural fitness at 17, 16 stamina. He's 6'1", he can jump as well, so could be a threat from corners. Mentally, the guy is fantastic. 17 aggression, 17 bravery, 17 determination, 16 work rate. He's got some brilliant stats here. And with a leadership stat being 16, I've given him the vice captaincy this year as well. and technically too, he's got some great stats too. 14 heading, 16 long throws, interestingly enough, 15 marking, 15 tackling, 13 passing as well. So again, could either be a defensive type of player or a player to keep holding the ball as a deep line playmaker. It will most likely be the former in this team, but it's a great signing. I really rate this guy a lot. He's got some absolutely fantastic stats, and I'm really happy to have him here, even on that very pricey contract. So for £27 million, I think that's quite a good deal, really. And in the end, we spent £76 million on these 5 players, but of course the £30 million for Allsop was agreed last year. So technically it's £46 million on these 4 players here for new signings for this year. You know what I'm trying to say here, even though Allsop was signed last season, technically. It's been a productive window, you know, and because of the fact we haven't spent that much money, and we raised some money for the sales as well, when you look at our finances right now, well, it's what I said I wanted it to be in the season finale. I didn't want our budget to take a massive hammering. It has taken a little bit. We've still got £68 million in the bank. That's not bad at all. And yeah, I don't really have any plans to make any more signings either, because the team right now is looking really good. We've got very few weaknesses in our team right now, just a little bit of lack of defense according to our coaching report here, and a leadership void, which I don't think is true. We've got some good leaders here, but other than that, there's a lot of strengths to this team. The team gets better year after year, and I really like what we got heading into season 9. You know, my only concern really is not in defense, but actually up top. You know, obviously last season he struggled in front of goal quite a few times in quite a few key games, and this is our striking options: Benker, Marek, Redinaldo, John Black and Mane. Not too sure, but I guess we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But yeah, for the most part, I'm happy with what we've done. And also, I should let you know there are some future transfers to go through at the end of the season and during the season as well. I do this quite a lot. You know, when a player is having his contract expiring, I look to ship them on before their contract goes for a free. So we're selling Ben Chilwell to Norwich for £7.5 million. He's out of contract in the summer, so we may as well get a bit of cash for him, because he's not going to sign a new deal. £7.5 million he'll go to Carrow Road. Hulmada's going to go to Espanyol for £6.5 million as well. Again, another player out of contract next summer, so may as well get a bit of cash for him. As you knew, Jordan is going to China in January for £23 million. Since we signed Carl Allsop, that's fair enough, because he's going to be like our 5th choice centre-back this season, so fair enough. And also, this sale here was a bit of a reluctant one. Andre Lunin is going to go to RB Leipzig at the end of the season for £30 million. The truth is, he and Petkovic are both considered leading goalkeepers in the Premier League, and the fact of the matter is, like, you can't keep 2 world-class goalkeepers happy in your team, because you can't always rotate them. Eventually, you know, one player's going to be sat on the bench more than the other one, and Lunin is the guy that's sort of been sacrificed to the bench a little bit from last season. Only 3 games of the Premier League last year. It was time to sell him whilst you could still get a bit of money for him. 2 years left in his deal. He'll leave at the end of this season, and for £30 million as well. Don't forget, we picked him up on a free 4 years ago. That's not bad. That's not bad. We possibly might have undersold him a bit there, because he's a world-class goalkeeper, but he deserves first-team football. He's going to Germany for £30 million, and we'll put all our faith in Petkovic, who will become our official number 1 once Lunin's deal goes through at the start of next season. So that's pretty much that for the transfers. Then as for our dynamics right now, you can see we've only got 1 player concerned at the moment. This is brilliant. I know of you guys the same as me in FM, but I have a lot of players that are always upset with me in FM. It's hard to keep them all happy. But right now, the dressing room atmosphere is fantastic. The support for me is really, really good. And as for the hierarchy too, as you can see right now, our 3 team leaders are the same as last year: Marek, Webster and O'Reilly. But in the social groups, we've just got the 2 split now. A core social group and a secondary social group. Hopefully, we'll get a few of these more into the core, but for the most part, it's not too bad. I'm always concerned when you get 4 splits, but for 2 splits, that's not too bad right now. And there's your confirmation. Weston McKennie has indeed become our vice captain heading in to the 9th season. So let's move on then to preseason, and I'll show you what happened in preseason. As you can see, it was quite a successful one. We drew 2 of our friendlies, but won every other one, including winning our Den Cup by beating Barcelona and then RB Leipzig. And also, we did have the Euro qualifying 3rd round tie as well against this Austrian side here, Admira Wacker. And the badge I recognise, but I don't know too much about the team. But we beat them by 4 goals in over 2 legs anyway. In the first leg, Ferincek scored our only goal of the game. We almost conceded an away goal and drew the game in stoppage time as well when it hit the bar. But Ferincek's only goal of the game gave us the win, heading back to Austria. And in the second leg, Benko, who picked up a knock in pre-season, came back back, made his first appearance of the season in this game. He was the Golden Boot winner last year in the Europa League, and he started his campaign strong off as well. Back to his native home country, scored 3 goals, and got the hat-trick as we won the game by 3-0, and won the tie by 4-0. And the third goal Benka scored as well. Mane, I don't know whether it actually happened or not, or maybe my eyes played tricks on me, but Mane seemed to do like a Rabona cross to the middle. It was lovely. Definitely justifying the free transfer. But yeah, we're through to the next round in the qualifying stages, and we'll take on Slavia Prague as we aim to get through to the group stages for the second straight year. Anyway, our first game of the new season is against Spurs. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to show you. Perhaps our competitions overview maybe, so you can see what we expect to do this season. Reach semi-finals Europa League just like last year. That's the expectation. Last year we reached the quarterfinals, reached 6th round of the FA Cup, and reached the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. And in the Premier League as well, the board now expect us to qualify for the Europa League. Last year it was mid-table, now they expect us to qualify for the Europa League. And the playoff final winners, by the way, last year were Aston Villa, who beat Fulham. Yeah, let's dive into the first. Was it Fulham? Pretty sure it was. Let's dive into the first game of the season, and we're away against Spurs, who got a pretty poor record against them in this series. But hopefully, we'll get to our second win against the boys away at New White Hart Lane. Now, we're going to play 4-2-4 for the game. And I'm quite nervous for this because I think against big teams, we're going to really get exploited through the middle of the park. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Last year, the 4-2-3-1 really struggled in the second half of the season. So best to try something different. And hopefully the 4-2-4 will work for us. So this will be our team for the game then. Pekovic in goal. About for retirement. Carl Allsop, Ferencek and Ranieri. With a midfield duo being McKennie and Campagno. A new midfield duo this year. Our wingers are Luiz and Webster though, who signed a new contract by the way, Luiz. There was interest from Manchester City at the end of last season. You would have seen it. He signed a new 5-year deal. Got to love it. 63 grand a week. Got rid of the minimum fee release clause as well. Luiz is going nowhere. Hands off Man City. We absolutely love this guy. He and Webster on the wings then, not top together, Marek and Julian Benka. And on the bench, Lunin, Maori, Bree, Dobby, O'Reilly, Menji, and Redinaldo as well. So first game of the new season, it's Spurs. Let's start off with a win. Come on, you Lions. Also, just before we play the game as well, I do want to show you this. The salary per year. Every single season it's gone up, obviously. And we're now the 15th highest spenders in the division at £61 million, or £61.5 million, I should say. But it's still pretty good, isn't it? You know, when you think about it, 2 straight seasons finishing in 7th place, and a lot of these teams above us haven't finished as high as we have in the past 2 years. So to be spending, you know, quite a bit less than quite a few of them, that's still pretty good, right? So yeah, and the significance of the Weston McKennie 100 grand a week deal as well, 105 grand a week actually, get it right, is the fact that, you know, there's certain things in FM where you always sort of like remember your first, if you will, like you remember your first new gen who became, you know, the first capped for a country, for example, or you remember your first new gen who, you know, played in a World Cup or whatever. For me, it's the first player, as Barnes could have made it 1-0 earlier, Pekovic makes a great save. For me, it's the first player you sign that's 100 grand a week plus. Because I always try and keep a tight grip on the finances, or as much as I can, and I hate putting players on expensive contracts. So when a player goes on 100 grand a week plus, that's always the first player. I always remember it throughout the entire save, especially in an RTG save. So a lot of money spent on McKennie for this season, but I think he'll be worth it. You know, I really like his stats, and again, a very versatile CM as well. Could be really useful for these 4 years. Anyway, first highlight for us could come 11 minutes in, as Campagno goes to cross into McKennie, right on cue, headed away but only as far as Webster, who couldn't pull the trigger. There is Paolo getting it back, though he finds Luiz. Oh yes, Luiz justifying a new 5-year deal, puts us in front, and Paolo with an assist on his Premier League debut as well. He had 11 last year for Vitesse, 1-in-1 here in the Premier League for the Lions. Rafa Aguero heads it clear, poor header though, and as Webster is tackled, it's a great ball by Paolo to pick out Luiz at the far post, great finishing off the post, 1-0 Millwall, and a perfect start. We've made some absolutely fantastic new-gen/regen signings, but Luiz is definitely up there as one of my favourites, as Spurs had a chance there to equalise. We cleared the corner away. The Brazilian is just so good, though, and as McKennie finds Marek, there's a chance on the breaker. It's Clinton on the ball. It's Webster coming through. He's got to cross that from a tight angle, surely. Benka! Oh, Benka! How did he miss that? Webster with a cross. Great selfless work, and Julian Benka, last year's top scorer. Wow, should have made it 2-0. Sitter. However, we're still leading by a goal. We've played very well in this first half when going forward, creating 2 good chances and taking 1. And there might be another one on the cards here. Paolo to Luiz as the goal scorer crosses. Webster's arriving off the crossbar. And for the second time today we hit the woodwork, but this time it doesn't go into the back of the net as well. Off the bar from Webster. This has been a good first half. In terms of the stats, we've not played especially well, but we've had some good chances and we should be leading by more. So second half begins, and straight away there is a highlight 3 minutes after the restart. As Ranieri is going to go up for that ball, but loses out towards Barnes. Spurs looking for that equalising goal as Harry Winks finds Oakley Booth. And it's a nice little ball into Barnes. Barnes takes a touch. Good tackle though. And as Paolo finds Benker, a chance on the break here. Benker to Marek, the captain. And Marek back towards Julian Benker. Out wide is Webster. Finds him. And Clinton inside to Paolo. Paolo to Benker. Great through ball. And Julian Benker again fails to take the chance. Great save by the goalkeeper. But he should have had 2 goals today. He can only do it in the Europa League, Benker. Paolo, however, is pulling the strings out there. Sadly, just got a booking right on cue. But he's having a fantastic Premier League debut. Could have had a couple of assists already. He's already got 1, but we're still leading by a goal. And I told you I was excited about this guy. I really, really am. Excellent stats on the guy. And only 21 as well. He's just going to get better. The chance here for Spurs, which is a free kick headed away. But they'll get it straight back. And look for an opening here. Winks inside. Oakley Booth. Great first time knock to Guerrero. Cross to the middle. Hooked away. But as Winks shoots, it's deflected, and it's cleared. And now, foot race. Louise beats Eriksson, and a chance on the break. It's a 3-on-1. Webster, Benker, surely, third time lucky. Julian Benker, oh, get him off. Another sitter from Benker. That's it. From now on, he's only starting Europa League games. He can't score in the Premier League. Julian Benker's had an absolute shocker. This game should be done by now, but instead we're letting Spurs back into it. Adamson's cross, shot comes in. Great save by Petkovic. Makes the stop and keeps it at 1-0. Wow, fantastic save by the Croatian, and with Lunin leaving next season, well, we've put in the faith in this guy, and you can see why. I'm taking off Benker, he's had a poor game out there. We'll sort those 2 roles around. But as we're still leading by 1, I don't want to throw away a big 3 points on the opening day. Come on. About to freshen things up here and bring on Dobby for Paolo, which I don't want to do, but he's on a book and he's getting tired out there. But Spurs are through a great chance for an equalising goal, and Petkovic again with a brilliant save. Still 1-0, 10 minutes to go. Putting the faith in the Croatian, and it may well pay off for us. Another great save, corner to the middle. Ferencek does well and gets it clear as well. We love our number 50, who might become our number 1 officially next season. Now Webster's on the ball. Down the right-hand side, Clinton takes it around his man. Great work from Clinton. Now can he cross? Yes, he can. Ready now. No! Is this the season he comes good? Wonderful work by Webster, and the Brazilian off the bench puts it in off the post, and the Brazilian boys have worked well for us today. It's Samba time here against Spurs with 2 goals to the good, and that should be a win on the opening day, which we don't say very often. Brilliant work by Webster, cross to the far post, wonderful through ball that actually across the ground, and ready now to the finish. 2-0 Lions, that should be the 3 points now. Get in. Oh, no, but there's always something that has to go wrong for me when everything's going really well in FM. That probably happens to you guys quite a lot as well. Everything's perfect, and then just one really bad thing happens straight afterwards. Webster off. Hopefully that's not a serious injury for Clinton there. He's the star of this team. We've got a few others now to join him, but we love Clinton. He's always going to be the headline guy here. Menji will come on to see out the final few minutes, and I'm crossing my fingers here. I've got to hope that's not a serious injury for Webster. He's had a couple of, little ones here and there. I say little ones, like a couple of month injuries per se, but nothing too significant. But an injury on the opening day for Webster, I just got my fingers crossed, that's not going to be too bad. But that should be the finals coming in a second now, and there it is right on cue. It's a win on the opening day. That doesn't happen to us very often, but the Brazilian boys got the job done, and I'm delighted with that. A 2-0 victory away against Spurs. We'd only beaten them once in the series before. That's a great win to start off Season 9. So a great start, but how bad is that injury for Webster? 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 7 weeks of a twisted ankle. That's not as bad as it could have been. It's one of those injuries that he's had a couple of times throughout the series so far. We can cope with that. But get well soon, Clinton, because we love you so much. But that will end the first episode of the new season, guys. So big thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like, as likes are, of course, very much appreciated. And they really help the channel out as well. We shall return with the next episode with games against... I'm tempted to come back early here and play Slavia Prague in the second qualifier, and then Everton away. But I do think we should get through that tie. So I might come back for our first group game, whenever that's going to be, plus a Premier League game as well. I guess I'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure what next episode will feature, but you'll see it very soon. So have an awesome day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon. Bye.